I have thought of even more stuff that pissed me off about Indiana Jones. I couldn't even sleep because I was still thinking of stuff that pissed me off about this movie. And I've just read some of your comments, and I'm going to respond to some of them now. A lot of you said that the two paths through the jungle they were driving past was made by that gigantic machine, that felling machine that was driving through the woods and cutting paths. Okay, that's a little bit rational, but I have two questions about that one. One, where did they even get that? Okay, and two, I don't think that accounts for all the paths through the jungle, because Indy blows that up fairly early on in the chase, doesn't he? I mean, he shoots it or something and it blows up, but I mean, there's still, like, they go through half the jungle that way, and there's this big cliff, and they go over, and then what Marion does, this is the most insane thing I think I've ever seen. Marion sees them, they're coming up on this cliff, she gets this, like, look at her, she goes crazy, and then she drives off the cliff into a tree that's growing out of the cliff, lands in the tree bends down, they land in the water, they drive off the tree into the water, and then, as if she planned it, the tree goes whoosh, it springs back up and hits the communists, knocking them off the cliff that they were rappelling down. She's fucking out of her mind! Can you believe that? There's no way she planned that, and if she did plan that, it's a wonder she didn't. She cleared that with Indy. I'd slap the shit out of her for doing something like that. You'd be like, "What are you doing? No, grab the wheel!" Then the scene gets even worse. It gets even worse because then, like, William Hurt is acting like he's all crazy. He's doing his King Lear impression or something like that. You know, he's spouting haikus and Milton and stuff like that. And then he goes, "Oh, by the way, there's a waterfall." Then they go off the waterfall. Then they go off another waterfall. And then they go off fucking Niagara Falls waterfall. Each time landing their Jeep about like 100 feet down into a pile of jagged rocks. They should have every bone in their body shattered with a Jeep wrapped around their stupid asses. With, you know, picking rocks out of their skulls. They should be dead 3 times over. And yet they get up like it's some fucking Looney Tunes commercial. Like, they get up like a Wile E. Coyote. It's insane. And then they get into the temple. They're instantly dry. They all have their stuff. Indy keeps his hat on through the entire thing. I have no idea how that happens. Then, this is the funniest thing. I laughed out loud when I saw this in the theater. And it happens twice in this movie. What they do is they're walking through these ancient ruins, right? They walk through the ruins, and just behind them, all of a sudden, they kick out these stone facades on the wall, and these guys come out, these tribal guys with bolas, and they start stalking through there. You're like, okay, fine, but then you gotta think, how long have those guys been sitting in those alcoves? Somebody had to literally, like, wedge themselves into these, like, 4-foot recessions in the wall and then stay there. And they've had to stay there for how long have they been there? Do they just spend years at a time sitting up there, waiting for some guy to pass by, and then jump out and systematically stalk them, you know, with all their buddies? There's like 20 of them in there. Does somebody give them sandwiches and juice every few hours? Do they go to the bathroom? Is it like, "Hey, Lionel, I have to go to the bathroom. Could you watch my alcove in case somebody passes by for me?" "Oh, yes, I think that would be lovely. Mind if I go with you?" And like, at the first one, when they go to that tomb, like, 3 random kung fu bastards just come out and they spin kick the shit out of the beef, or Shia LaBeouf, as I call him, the beef. Do they just, like, do they have an agenda? Do they go, "I'm just going to hole up near this graveyard, and if somebody comes by, it's their ass"? I just don't know where these guys come from. And, oh, and the blowguns. Apparently, these guys have blowguns, and then they take great pains to sharpen both ends of the dart and poison both ends, just so Indy can conveniently, like, blow the dart back into his mouth and kill him. Yeah, that's great. It's just phenomenally bad, and the entire movie just falls apart when you think about it at all. And somebody explained to me the crystal skulls. Like, apparently, I was right in that, like, all of those guys that I mentioned had crystal skulls. There's like 3 of them. So, like, there's the Roswell alien, which is not the skull they're looking for. And then there's that other alien that's actually the body, which also not the skull they're looking for. No, it has to be a specific skull. Where did this... Who took the skulls? You've got this ancient city, and it's been built around a UFO, and somebody broke in there and stole a skull, a crystal skull. That's what they took, or they took all of them. I don't know, but they walk through all of this treasure, rooms full of treasure, and they take a skull. Oh, and is there really metal in gunpowder? I don't remember. I don't know much about it. Like, maybe there is metal in gunpowder, but I don't remember it. Maybe you can come up with it. Yeah. Oh, the guys in the walls. Those guys. Somebody actually had to wall them in there. They actually were. Those facades were covered in stone and gold inlay and like semi-precious stones. They couldn't leave. They've been in there for decades. Like those guys kicked that stuff out, and all that stuff shattered on the ground. I mean, that's not easy to do. Like, it's insane. Okay. I know I'm still going to get a ton of mail over this. I already have people bashing Temple of Doom, people saying they really enjoyed this movie. All I can say, here's all I can say, is if you watch any of those three movies, any of the last three movies, they don't hold a candle. I'm sorry. Crystal Skull doesn't hold a candle to any of those three. It's not even close. It's a nostalgia trip. And if that's your deal, hey, power to you. But man, this is... They already released one DVD set of Indiana Jones, and then just recently they did another, what I call a double dip. It's exactly the same DVD set. Now what's going to happen is we're going to see a 4-disc DVD set of the tetralogy that comes out. It's not going to be any different, except we've got the shitty movie lumped in with it. If you enjoyed it, I can't tell you didn't enjoy it, because obviously you did. I'm just trying to tell you to try to analyze this stuff a little more. You gotta... People are saying I'm not being fair. Like, maybe my expectations were too high, or maybe the old movies aren't as good as I remember, or maybe I was younger when I saw them and my expectations are unreasonably high. I don't think so. When I'm watching an Indiana Jones movie, I think it's fair to judge it as an Indiana Jones movie, and as an Indiana Jones movie, it's terrible. It's just terrible. So, all I can do is tell you what I thought of the movie, and I didn't think much of the movie. But, they should have just taken that script and mailed it to the Marx Brothers.